Hello everyone and welcome to my channel again, and in today's grammar lesson we are going to learn about transitive and intransitive verbs. So before this, it is important that we recall what is a verb and object. A verb is an action word. Like in a sentence, the word that shows an action is the verb actually. For example, run, eating, watching, sewing, or singing. He is singing, he runs a mile daily, she is eating noodles, she is watching a documentary on a laptop, she is sewing a frock for her daughter, or whatever. In all these sentences, these words run, eating, watching, sewing, and singing, they are verb because they are expressing an action. Another one, and the most important here, is actually object. Object is basically the receiver of an action, someone or something that is receiving the action, that is at the other end of the action, is object. Don't get confused about subject and object. Remember that subject is someone that is doing the action. However, object is something or some person that is receiving the action. For example, in these sentences, she called me, she subject, called is a verb, and me is the object. I hope that this recalling is enough for you, but if you think that you really need help with this, I have already uploaded a lesson about this. You can have a look on that. I will drop the link in the description. So Harry gave Cherry a check. Again, we have Harry, the subject, the verb gave, and we have uh, like an object, that is Jerry, and a check. He gave Jerry a check. He gave Jerry what? A check. And then Sarah baked a red velvet cake. We have the subject Sarah, and what the action she did is of baking, and the thing that was baked is a red velvet cake. So again, I hope this much recalling is enough for you. Let's just move on. If you have a clear concept about object, transitive verbs is the most easiest, I must say. Like transitive verbs, the very word transitive means that the movement from one point to another. So when the verb it takes an object to completely convey its meaning, then the verb is called transitive verb. Like it is transitioning to another point, something or some person who is receiving the action, so it takes an object. Okay. To make it clear to you, let's just have a look on these sentences. Like she bought, the chef cooked, and they built. Like if there are no pictures, these sentences do make sense but not complete sense. Okay. Especially if you are like Pakistani or Indian, you must know that for us, where English is not even second language, these sentences, they make sense to us, but they are not complete because they need something that is at the other end of the action. Let me just give you an example. I have added object to these sentences. She bought a lot of clothes. The chef cooked a delicious meal. They built a beautiful house. Okay. If I would just say they built, and I'm not just going to actually talk about what thing they built, or the chef cooked what, I need something to make my meaning clear. Okay. She bought a lot of clothes. Again, I have to specify that she bought this thing, so I am using an object. So when a verb has an object, the verb is called transitive verb. Okay. You can just learn it from the word transition as well. Okay, just the way I explained. So if a verb has an object, it is transitioning, so it is called transitive verb. So what could be intransitive verb? Simply a verb that does not require a direct object, and it can stand alone in a sentence and convey a complete thought. We use adverbials, complements sometimes are there, and adjectives are there, but there are no object. Okay. Let's just have a look on these sentences. For example, a flock of birds is flying over our heads. A flock is the thing that we are talking about, so our subject is a flock of birds, and is flying is the verb. And over our heads. We have an adverbial, but we do not have an object. He laughed heartily. He laughed. Simply, he laughed. Okay, heartily here is an adverb but not an object. Again, we do not have an object, so simply it's intransitive verb. The birds are singing. Our singing is our verb, and it does not take an object to complete completed meanings. This is simple. The birds are singing, so we do not have object. It's a transitive. It's an intransitive verb. Okay, there's one thing that I want you to keep it to make it very clear in your mind, that it is not compulsory that some verbs are used as transitively and some are used as intransitively, because sometimes the same verbs are being used as transitively or intransitively. Okay, the sun rises every morning. Again, in this sentence as well, we do not have an object. We have our adverb, but we have do not have our object. So this is again intransitive a verb. So the verb is the transitive, and intransitive is actually the state. Okay, let me just make this very point clear to you, that most verbs are used both as transitively and intransitively. So it is safe to say that verbs are verbs can be transitive or intransitive. We cannot say it's like some verbs are transitive or some verbs are intransitive. No, sometimes verbs can be transitive and sometimes intransitive. So it is this how it is. So, for example, he spoke the truth. We have the verse of speaking spoke. Conjugation is in past. He spoke the truth. So, what did he speak of? What did he speak? The truth. We have our object. So, this is the verb. The verb spoke is transitive verb. But in the second sentence, he spoke technically. We have adverb, but no object. So this very verb, the same verb here is used as intransitively. Okay, I hope this point is clear to you. And if not, I have also wrote some examples to make it clear to you. I have used the same verbs, and I have mixed sentences with it being transitive and intransitively. Like, please open the door for me. Open what? The door. I have an object, so open is transitive verb. The flower opens in the morning. Opens here means that bloom. So the flower blooms or opens in the morning. Here we do not have an object, so this is intransitive verb. The verb opens is intransitive. In the second sentence, she reads a book. She reads what? A book. We have a receiver of the action, the object, so this is a transitive state. He reads for pleasure. He reads for pleasure. We do not have object. So reads here is intransitive. They eat dinner together. I usually eat at home. So in the first sentence we have object. They eat what? Dinner. So transitive, but in the second one it is used as intransitive. The last one, the short sank the ship. The short sank what? The ship. We have object, so it is transitive, but in the second one, the ship sank rapidly. We have adverbial but no object, so again, this is intransitive. Okay, that was all when it comes to transitive and intransitive, and now it is time to test yourself. I have this checkpoint for you, and I want you to grab your pen and paper and try to solve it on your paper. And on the count of three, I will like give you the answers. So I want you to pause the video and just resume it when you are ready. One, two, three. So here are the answers. I hope that you have done well. I would like to conclude today's lesson, and there are important things that I want you to keep in your mind, that the basic difference between transitive and intransitive verb is of object. When there is an object, the verb is transitive, but when there is no object, the verb is in intransitive state. And definitely, when there are object intransitive verbs, that is to complete the meaning, right? But in intransitive verbs, they can stand alone. They do not need an object to completely convey its meaning. And the last point is that when you will learn, or if you already know about the change of voice, it is one of the basic condition. Like, if your verb in the sentence is transitive, only then it can be changed into passive voice. So these are the three major differences that you can memorize, and that will help you to attempt better in your exam or whatever test you might have. Okay, that was all for today's lecture. I hope the lecture was helpful for you. But if there are some confusions regarding this, you can just let me know in the comment box, and I will try my best to guide you about that. Thank you so much, and see you in the next lesson.